Hello and welcome back. Well, it's time to jump on the next storyline mission. I will use my Phantasm for this storyline, but I might have to change my ship for the next ones. We will see. So, the mission is called Spark of Rebellion. This is the Tier 6 Amar storyline. Now, the first change that I did notice is, of course, the reward. From 25 million ISK, they increased it to 35 million ISK, which is a nice change. Of course, the difficulty will be increased, and thankfully they also increased the reward to balance things out. It is still a 3-part storyline mission, 2 combat sites plus 1 system scan, so that is the same from before the patch, and that is also very nice. Well, let me show you the ship fit that I use. Now, from the last time I changed the heatsinks. Now I do use the C-type heatsinks, and the next module that will be changed will be the reactive shield hardener. And I already did get the module, but unfortunately I can't equip it at the moment because there is a very weird delay. I have to wait 1 hour because I got the module for very cheap, but that will change in the next video. Once I change the modules, the resistances of the ship will increase, and as you could see, most of the modules are also the same. With time I will make the ship with full C-type equipment, just because I did plan to do that for a very long time. Now this is the reactive shield hardener that I will use from the next video, and well, 18.24% resistance on all damage types. Well, that is a 3% increasement over the current shield hardener that I have, that uses 15.94% resistance, and well, that's very nice, and the 3% change will also be very nice. I am very curious to see how this will affect the overall EHP of the ship. Well then, time to roll out and time to see what the mission will offer. Warping in at the first site, and well, again, very interesting change. Now there is only 5 ships when you warp in. Well, time to find out what modules do these ships carry. As always, the primary target will be the destroyer or the frigate, so it is a tracking disruptor. Okay, well, this is gonna be fun. This is going to be fun. That means my turrets are going to be weakened by those modules. The tracking is going to be affected. That means I will have to keep my afterburner off in order to hit these ships properly, because of course that does affect tracking. 643 DPS on this ship with the modules active. That's not bad. I think with the pulse lasers I might get 800 DPS at the moment. That's gonna be interesting to try out. Okay, that first destroyer was destroyed. Time to jump on the bomber. The disruption is coming from the Omen Navy. That means that ship will be my next primary, although I should have focused on the Omen immediately. So I do see this mission being very fun for ships that use missiles and ships that use drones as their primary weapon. Drones because drones are not going to be affected by the tracking disruption, and missiles because missiles are not going to be affected by the tracking disruptor. As for the tank, armor tank is recommended for this mission. You can use a shield tank, but it might be a little bit difficult, or it might be a little bit risky. It depends from the ship. I use a shield and a speed tank. It's been working very well so far, and I didn't encounter any problems with it. The second wave of enemies is mostly the same. Again, you will have this Omen with the tracking disruptor, that if you can, you should make it the primary target. After the Omen there is the Purifier and the Destroyer, the Dragon. And of course my next primary will be that Bomber. After the Bomber I'll be focusing on the Destroyer. So far, it's been going pretty smoothly. It will be the real challenge will begin from the 4th and 5th wave. That's where most of the ships will spawn, and I'm very curious to see what will happen. So far, I do expect frigates that do carry disruptors, frigates that do carry webifers, and frigates that do carry scramblers. Those are going to be a high priority target. Okay, this is the last cruiser that's left. Now I am slowly going to approach the Mauler, and after that I will align myself to the sun, you know, just in case if they warp in too close, so that I can immediately warp off the site and, well, prevent my ship from being destroyed. Okay, now if you're wondering why that Mauler is not shooting at me, that Mauler is equipped with remote repair modules, so all of the high slots are equipped with remote repairers, and well, that means that cruiser cannot open fire at me. Okay, well, this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th wave, and let's see, 8 ships. Well, I will target the destroyers and frigates first. Let's see who's the fastest. No tracking disruptor. Okay, well that's interesting. That dragon appears to be the fastest. That dragon is now the primary target. I will slowly approach that ship, orbiting at 28 kilometers. Okay, it is now within the drone range, it is well within the main weapon range, and well, that ship is about to be destroyed. Now the second target will be that cruiser. It is the second closest ship to me, and well, I have to admit, I do like the change, because the bounties were also changed, major change to bounties. Now they give you a lot more than before. You can get around 4 million, in some cases 5 million, and that is indeed very, very good. A good improvement over the 2.8 to 3 million before. Okay, that cruiser is going down. The next target will most likely be that purifier, because I don't trust these bombers. Now, they are bombers, but they don't use missiles, they use turrets, but they still do a decent amount of damage to your ship. Okay, this is the next wave, and yep, you guessed it, they did spawn too close to me. And I immediately got, well, not scrambled, but those are warp disruptors, and I do have 2 tracking disruptors on me, a web, 2 neutralizers, and 2 Nosferatus. Well, I will keep aligning towards that station, and I will try to make distance between my ship and those ships. We'll try to take out the ships that do have these disruptors on me. We'll try to take out the ships with the web. So far, the ship is stable, the shield is holding out quite well, the capacitor is also holding out quite well, although I have to admit this is kind of a unpleasant situation that I got myself into, but it's not too serious because I can shoot down all of these ships. In most cases you should avoid to get caught like this. Okay, that purifier is the next target, and I did manage to escape the disruptors, and I should be safe now. All of the ships that did get too close to me have been destroyed, and well, now I can slowly work my way up to all of these ships, and of course I will start with that dragon, and well, I did end this with this elite arbitrator. Overall, that wave was kind of, it could have been tricky, it could have been potentially dangerous for my ship, but I did survive. Thankfully I did align myself to the sun on time. That's what prevented them from landing at 0 from me. If they landed from 0 from me, that would have been a very, very tricky moment, and that would be a very tricky situation. But that did not happen, thankfully. And now I think this should be the last ship of this wave. Overall, that was I have to admit, that was a tough battle. Mostly because the tracking disruptors did interfere with my turrets, but besides that, I think this wasn't that difficult, but it was a tough battle, I have to admit. It was indeed a tough battle. Well, time to warp at the second site, and well, let's see what the second site will have to offer. So, upon warping in, you are going to be greeted by 12 ships, and of course, this time I warped at 100 kilometers from these ships just to be safe. And well, let's see. Let's wait for the fastest ships to show themselves. After that happens, I will eliminate the fastest ships that do carry the most dangerous modules, and after that I can slowly work my way up to all of the other ships that are on the field. Okay, that Courser interdictor is the primary target. There are 2 tracking disruptors on me, but at this range they don't have any effect on me, so my tracking will be unaffected by this range. And I can start opening fire on the closest ships to me to slowly terminate them, and after I terminate them, it will be a lot easier to maneuver, and it will be a lot easier to shoot down these ships. I got this. Okay, well, that's interesting. They do have good range with the warp disruptor, 22 to 24 kilometers. That's actually impressive. So if you have a medium range fit like I do, be very careful around these ships. And I would really advise not to go head on all of these ships. Play tactical and play careful, because those disruptors can be a very big threat, especially if your ship is also relying on energy, because they do use neutralizers, they do use Nosferatus, and these modules can make Armada ships, Galante ships defenseless, because the Armada ships and Galante ships, and of course some faction ships, do rely on the capacitor for their weapons. Lasers, for example, need the capacitor to run, and if I don't have the capacitor, my lasers are offline, and if they are offline, then I can't do damage. And of course, if that happens, then I can say goodbye to my Phantasm, and I can prepare myself to buy a new one, if I have the ISK for that, of course. Well, the last enemy here is again this arbitrator. For some reason, these arbitrators are surviving, and I don't know why. I have aligned myself to the sun again, and I do have the afterburner on. Let's see what the next second wave will bring us. 15 ships did land at 34 kilometers from me. Okay, well, this time I was prepared for any sudden appearances, and the primary will be that interdictor. Interdictors are always my primary target, and they should be your primary target too, because, well, if anything has the name interdictor in them, it should be the primary target, because those can drop bubbles, those can drop disruptors, those can drop scramblers, and of course webifers, so they are a high priority target. The next target most likely will be that purifier. It appears to be also very fast, that means it needs to be terminated. No frigate is going to approach me. Now it will be very interesting to see how pulse lasers will perform here. They have higher tracking, but they have lower range. I think I actually will have to try this with pulse lasers just to see what will happen. Of course, that is kinda risky, because I'll be definitely within the disruptor range of these enemy ships. So that's definitely risky play, but I'll try just to see what happens. Next primary is that dragon, because those ships can be dangerous. Okay, that ship has been shot down. Now I should be safe. Most of these ships are normal enemy ships, and they will not represent a threat to me. Of course, they can be a threat if I am not careful enough, but of course I will be careful. Famous last words, I know. Okay. Now I'll be setting my orbit at maybe 22 kilometers afterwards, because the tracking disruptors do affect the precision of, and of course the tracking of my turrets. And of course, to compensate for that, I will have to get closer to the enemy ships in order to hit them. Now, it is kind of a difficult situation here to choose the primary target, because it is difficult to choose from the ones that do carry disruptors from the ships that do carry tracking disruptors. I like to target the ship that does prevent me from warping, and in this case it is the ships that do carry disruptors. But at the same time, it is kind of a tricky situation, because the tracking disruptors do prevent you from hitting the ships that do carry disruptors. So that's kind of a tricky situation, and for that I do advise to take range and to take out the ships that do carry the warp disruptors first. And so far that tactic has been proven quite successful. So far I did manage to clear most storylines with this ship. Now I know that this is a Phantasm, it is a faction ship. Faction ships are powerful, they are very strong ships, but I am well confident that any ship that uses the same tactic, that's built for a similar purpose to this ship, can do the job just fine. You don't need the shield field module that I use for resistance. As you can see, I barely even used the module. I primarily use the hardeners, because they don't use fuel, they use capacitor, but they are at the moment my primary modules here. I do use the hardener, I do use the shield field module, and I do use the field boosters in case where I take incoming damage, where I take constant incoming damage, which if you fly a ship with a similar fit, with the similar tactic, doesn't even need the shield field boosters and the shield field module, because you are going to be speed tanking, and speed tanking will reduce the incoming damage. So in the end, most ships will be able to do this, and of course I will try most ships out. But at the moment, as you can see, I do need more ISK. 379 million is not enough, and eventually the next potential ship that I will buy is most likely the Rupture. That ship is kind of iconic, that ship is very interesting. Besides the Rupture, you have the ordinary Arbitrator, and you have the Mauler, the Omen, and the Thorax. The Mauler can be a very powerful cruiser, because it does have very good armor resistances. So if you're aiming for a ship that is not that expensive, that has very good resistances, then you should go for the Mauler. Those things are tanky, and I remember seeing those things doing tier 10 storylines before the update, but they are still very strong, they're still very powerful, and you can use them in the tier 6 storylines even after the update. Now, of course, the only difference is those ships are armor tanks, while the Phantasm is a shield tank. But again, most ships will be able to do this quite well and quite efficient. And of course, I will show you that as time goes on. But at the moment I am broke, okay, I don't have any ISK. I mean, you can see my ISK, that's why I keep my ISK visible, just to let you know what's my status, okay? Just to let you know what's my current balance, in case anyone's wondering what the next ship might be. Okay, the Elite Omen is going to be the next primary target. After the Omen, I will most likely focus on the Mauler, but it depends. Sometimes these ships do run away. Okay, the Mauler is using the tracking disruptor on me. That means the Mauler needs to be eliminated. Okay, 21 km from me, 2783. I am safe. I should focus on the Mauler. That ship is going down quite fast, I must say. That is actually very good. Okay, so 20 kilometers is the perfect range with one tracking disruptor on my ship. Okay, that's good to know. The last ship of this wave is this, again, a Mauler. Have to say, this was a tough battle, mostly because of the tracking disruptor. Again, if you use a ship that uses missiles or drones, it should be easier than with the Phantasm, because the tracking disruptor will not affect drones, it will not affect missiles. The guidance disruptor will affect missiles, but they don't use those here, so you are safe if you use missiles. This might be one of the moments where a Gila might be a very good choice, because the Gila is using missiles and drones. So if you use a Gila, then this should be a win-win situation, because the Gila uses both weapon systems that are going to be highly effective at this mission, because there is no guidance disruptor, and to my knowledge there is no module that affects drone tracking. So that ship is going to be very good for this mission. Okay, well that was my fault. I was also trying to get a good thumbnail for this, but getting a thumbnail is kind of difficult with all of these lasers, I have to admit. The last thumbnail was actually very nice. I did make it from the storyline. I did catch the perfect moment. But this time I think the thumbnail might be different, because it is kind of difficult to get a good thumbnail. It would be a good idea from developers to add an option to disable the damage indication, because the damage indications, the damage notifications there do affect the screenshots that I take, and they do prevent me from getting a very pretty screenshot for this. And I also did not even notice that I did have a warp disruptor on me. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's a mistake that I did make. Never ignore disruptors. They can be potentially very dangerous in some situations. I mean, they are dangerous. They prevent you from warping off. And if your ship gets webbed, by the way, with a disruptor, things can get tricky. Okay, that ship was also the last ship on the field. Not the last ship on the field, but the last ship within the range. That purifier is not dead yet. Oh my god. What am I doing? What am I doing? I have no idea. Oh man. That purifier is so lucky. 1 health. Oh my god, that purifier. Well, the purifier has been destroyed. It took longer than I have anticipated, but it was destroyed. Time to focus on the next frigate. It is this Crucifer. I missed the Crucifer E-War. That ship was actually amazing, and at the moment I didn't notice that ship being available in the ship tree. In the last beta, I mean not in the last beta, but in the open beta at January, I did fly the Crucifer E-War. That thing was absolutely amazing, and I'm not quite sure if we do have a Crucifer in game at the moment. I do hope that we have, because I will definitely buy one. And that's a elite purifier again. Oh my god, these purifiers are everywhere. And again I got a warp disruptor on me. Oh my god, how many disruptors do we have at this mission? At least like 20, I don't know. And fast forward the last enemy ship on the field. It is this elite Maler. Have to admit, this was a very interesting mission to do, and a difficult one as well. I have to admit, this mission might be the most difficult tier 6 mission in the game so far. Mostly because of the tracking disruptors and because of the amount of the warp disruptors that are flying around. Overall, it is a mission that will reward very good. If you have a ship that has missiles or drones as the primary weapon, this mission should be very easy. That means that ships like the Gila might be very good, ships like the Arbiters or Covertubs might be very good, other ships that use drones as well might be very good. And ships, if you use a ship that uses turrets, for example a Phantasm or a Rupture or a Thorax or any other ship with turrets, make sure to equip a targeting computer, tracking computer, because those will increase tracking once they use the tracking disruptor on your ship. That will make hitting the targets a lot easier. And well, that was the last ship. Those are a lot of wrecks, I have to admit. And well, with that being said, I did manage to complete this mission without getting shot down. That's good. That's very good. The loot was very nice and, well, I have to say quite profitable. And well, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.